I'm gonna be first in my fantasy football league because of these rankings.
No.
Woo!
No, not really.
Mr. 2-8 over here.
Oh, yeah?
Alright, so in this video we're gonna be talking about wide receivers in fantasy football this year. Welcome to No Facts Needed, and let's get right into it. One of my favorite players in the league right now, DeAndre Hopkins.
Nuke.
He takes the jump. He makes the clear cut. He is the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. With that, and Deshaun Watson, still a talented quarterback. He loves using DeAndre Hopkins. I think he'll get more targets than any other wide receiver. That'll just feed into his production.
Yeah, Hopkins is my number one too. I think it's pretty simple. Like he's probably the best receiver in the league. You know, he's not like the best athlete or anything, but his hands and his like just
route running,
running after the catch, just everything he does is great.
Yeah.
And they force feed him in Houston, which you gotta love.
Number 2, I have Davante Adams.
Hey, me too.
Davante Adams has been, last year he actually took a pretty good jump,
Oh yeah.
but
He's on my team, baby.
in the last 3 seasons he's had at least 10 touchdowns. And the best part, he is the best quarterback in the league, or arguably the best quarterback in the league.
Well, it's kind of the same thing with Hopkins. Aaron Rodgers loves throwing him the ball.
Aaron Rodgers is a smart guy, and he knows that. And he knows that Davante Adams is great. And he's going to force feed him just like Hopkins.
Yeah, he's a great route runner. He separates and he makes contested catches.
And he's a red zone beast.
And it's kind of the same thing we talked about with Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't matter if the Packers are good because we've seen the last 2 years they haven't been, and he's still stat.
My number 3 is Odell.
My number 3 is Tyreek the Freak.
Tyreek the Freak.
Big news coming for him. He's not going to get suspended somehow. Guess what? The number 1 fantasy wide receiver is back, and he's ready to do it again pretty much because, you know, I keep thinking Tyreek Hill, yeah, he's a big risk, but he's really not anymore. Like, as long as he's there, and Mahomes especially is there, he's just going to keep scoring, like, 60-plus yard touchdowns every other week.
Yeah.
And, like, it's great.
I feel like Tyreek Hill is kind of like Deshaun Jackson on steroids.
I feel like Tyreek Hill is the classic case of, like, he might not run the fastest 40, you know, there might be somebody who runs a faster 40 than him, but game speed, he's just insane. Like, his quickness,
nobody's gonna be able
his
to catch
quickness
him.
combined with his straight line speed is like, it's just, I mean, there's a reason, even against the best teams, he just outruns everyone.
No, I agree with you. I have Odell Beckham Jr. I think everyone, even if you're just a casual fan, you know who he is. He's really good, he's really fast, and he has the best hands in the league. He's been playing with bottom 20 quarterback in Eli Manning in the past like
his whole
4
career.
years. And he's freaking amazing. He's one of the best wide receivers since he's came into the league. The only problem, which is a really big problem, he gets hurt
Yeah.
a lot. And if he can stay healthy, he can be number 1, especially with Baker Mayfield.
Baker.
And he's in a perfect situation where he has Jarvis Landry and Antonio Callaway and Njoku, which they'll all take targets away. But also, he's not going to be double covered every single game. Like
And his quarterback isn't going to be awful.
Yeah, Baker can throw the deep ball. He's really good at throwing the slants, which Odell's really good at catching that. And I think the Browns just in general will score a lot of points, and they'll be able to move the ball really well, which Odell's going to be affected by that, and it's going to help him a lot.
My number 4 is Julio.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about Saquon already earlier. Well, Saquon is like the Julio of the running backs, meaning he's the most incredible specimen we've ever seen. Like, he's like 6'4". He's ripped his
head.
He's ripped, and he runs like a 4.2. So, the Falcons, they've never been able to use him right, but with Julio, if you can just get them to do something right with him, he's a freaking beast. We've seen him have like 300 yards more than once.
Julio's just amazing, and you know what you're getting into him.
Yeah.
Getting with him. My number 4 is Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas he's a good wide receiver. He's not the best.
He's not a freak athlete.
He does nothing special. He just does everything right, and Drew Brees loves that. Drew Brees loves giving him the 3-yard slant, and he does that all the way down the field.
He gets open a lot. I mean, whoever Drew Brees' number one wide receiver is,
He's gonna do good.
You probably want him on your fantasy team. My number 5 is AB.
Yeah.
Now, he's in a new situation, and he's got a new quarterback, and that's a little bit concerning. That's why he's not my number one, but he's Antonio Brown, and it's kind of one of those things. Until proven otherwise, I'm gonna say Antonio Brown is really, really good. So I expect him to go in there and maybe not be what he used to be, which is like top or number one every single year.
Yeah.
But just be a top 5 wide receiver.
No, I agree. My number 5 is Tyreek Hill. Kind of like what Eli said already, but not as much. Eli said something about how him being kind of risky, but he's not worried about the risk. I'm still kind of worried about the risk. He really relies on the deep balls for touchdowns and a lot of his yards. And I think Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill are going to be great. I just don't think they'll be as great as they were last year. And I think all those long balls, they'll still happen, just not as frequently as they were last year.
My number 6, Odell.
Odell.
Talked about it already. I think, if nothing else, he'll be a part of the best team he's ever been on. And he'll be playing with the best quarterback he's ever had for sure. So that should translate to fantasy success.
Yeah. My number 6 is Julio Jones. You talked about him, but one thing you didn't say is that over the last 3 seasons, he's hovered around 5 or 6. I think there was 2 seasons at 6 and 1 season at 5.
Like in terms of wide receiver rankings at the end of the year.
Yeah. Which, that's why I said before, you know what you're getting with him. You know you're going to get somebody who's consistently, he's going to put up the stats. He's not going to do, kind of like what Eli said, he'll put up like those huge games.
Mm-hmm.
And then some games he might have like three receptions for like 20 yards and a touchdown maybe. And you know what you're getting because he's done that the last 3 seasons and it's been consistent. So if you're okay with that, you're all for it. My number 7 is Antonio Brown. Eli talked about him, but for me, the reason he's so low is that Big Ben and Antonio Brown, their chemistry together was just so... The way Antonio Brown plays football with his route running and timing and everything, it's going to be hard for Derek Carr and Antonio Brown to find that, I think. And I think he'll still find success because he's still really good, just not as much as he has with the Steelers.
Yeah. My next one is Michael Thomas. We already talked about it. Drew Brees is number 1 receiver. Is good. You know, he makes contested catches. He's going to get in position to score a lot of touchdowns. So, yeah. He's going to do the flex thing that he does whenever he catches anything.
When he catches a 3-yard
3-yard out, baby.
For first down.
For no first down.
My number 8 is T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton's, it kind of reminds me of Tyreek, but more consistently short-term
I
wise.
thought you were just going to say short.
No, but he's good. He's really good at catching the long ball and getting his touchdowns that way. And the way I see it as, me personally, I think Andrew Luck should be a beast this year, and I think their team is going to be good, and I think T.Y. Hilton's going to contribute to that tremendously.
You would know that if you watch our QB video, so get on it.
So get on it. Watch it. It's great, and it's going to pretty much predict the future.
My number 8 is Mike Evans. Now, I was shocked to find out that Mike Evans was ranked as high as he was last year because... Let's just be honest here. The Bucks, nobody really cared about them last year. Like, yeah, they were intriguing a little bit, but it was just like a whatever season for them. And he was 6th. So they're bringing Jameis back. It could be his last year, but that's not what we're worried about here. Mike Evans is a baller. He's huge. He's got a crazy catch radius. And as long as he's out there and playing healthy, he should be able to put up numbers like he always does. You know?
My number 9 is Amari Cooper. I have to say, after the trade to Dallas, because overall his fantasy value wasn't that good, but after the trade to Dallas, he was the 6th best wide receiver. I think it was week 7 or 8, and after that, he scored a ton of points. The only bad thing about it is that, at least last year, which can be contributed to him not having enough chemistry with the team and everything, but he went off in spurts where he would score like 2 touchdowns or have 150 yards with 1 touchdown and
then have like nothing.
And have like 40 yards. Yeah.
My number 9 is Adam Thielen. kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum as Amari. He's just good all the time.
Consistently really
It
good.
doesn't matter who their quarterback has been. Thielen, he's gonna get about 100 yards per game. So he's not a flashy athlete at all. You know, he doesn't
At
really
all.
look like an NFL player if you
At
see him in
all.
his street clothes. But the dude is really, really good.
My number 2 is Mike Evans. We've already talked about him.
Big Mike.
Jameis Winston loves to throw to him, but Jameis Winston can't really throw, so take it what you want with that.
Yeah. My number 10 is Juju. My boy. I'm not saying Juju is going to be Antonio Brown.
Not close.
I'm saying Juju is going to be Juju, if that makes any sense at all.
like Juju is a good receiver.
Like, Juju is a freaking beast. And Juju, they're different. Because AB is like
different play styles.
route specialist, you know, go out there, toe tap, all that. Juju is just like
athletic, tall,
physical
big.
receiver, run after the catch. And if he can repeat what he's done last year and his rookie year, then he's going to be a beast.
Yeah.
And I'm not really worried about it because he's produced in almost any situation he's been in. Any honorable mentions?
Oh, one is Keenan Allen because I could have put him 8, 9, 10, but I put him 11 just because his ceiling isn't super high because there's so many mouths to feed in Los Angeles with the Chargers.
Yeah.
But he's consistently good. He gets a lot of receptions. Philip Rivers loves him, and he might not save a team, but if you can get him as a number 2, he's going to be one of the best number 2 you can get.
Yeah. My honorable mention, I'm going to go to AJ Green. He was hurt last year, but we know who AJ Green is. You know, he's a beast when he's on the field. The problem is just, is he going to be on the field?
It's funny to think about, like, 4 years ago, people used to think, who's better, AJ Green or Julio?
I mean, it was a real question.
I
back
know.
then. But
I think it can still be a question. AJ Green isn't that old. He's still
he's
good.
a beast. But if he has to be healthy, and his quarterback has to be healthy. And in the last few years, that just hasn't happened. So, yeah, AJ Green is a great player if he's there. So just be aware. Don't be surprised if AJ Green blows up next year.
Well, with all that being said, this should be an exciting fantasy football year. Good luck to everyone out there.
No, not if you're in our league.
Unless you're in our league. If you're in our league, you can suck it.
This dude.
Give me a gun. Let me shoot him or something. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. This has been No Facts Needed.